Hello and welcome to the Inferno, episode 42. Tonight's topic is the willing side piece. So if you've been in a situationship and had the hard realization that you were with a cheater, possibly narcissist, we're going to discuss tonight the red flags that the narcissist missed as they are having an affair with another person, what we call the side piece. Now, this isn't to say that the side piece doesn't become the main source of supply, because a lot of times this does happen. But tonight we're going to talk about this on a vibrational level, on how the narcissist, the one that was cheating on you, your husband, your wife, your supposed to be long-term committed partner, misses red flags with the person that they're messing with. And specifically, we're not talking tonight about those who have no idea that this person is in a relationship or supposed to be. We're talking about the male or female that knows they are messing with a married man and a married woman. So it's all about vibration. And so if you have a husband or wife who has been having an affair and this third party is very aware that they are married, then think about that energetically. This third person doesn't care about you as the wife or the husband. This person doesn't care about children that you may have together or even step-parented together. This person's willing to be a side piece, even if it's temporary, but they most likely have intentions on being with you in a committed relationship, but they don't care that you're married. And so what happens here with your significant other being the cheater or narcissist is they're in a vibration of lying and sneaking and having these affairs and encounters with other people. The third wheel, the third person, the willing participant is also a manipulator and lacks empathy and lacks compassion for you as the wife, for you as the husband, and even the children involved. These red flags that narcissists, because they get so caught up into the scheming and the sneaking around and they think it's excitement. So if this third party is also the willing participant, it's quite likely that they're also a narcissist. They don't care. They lack emotional empathy. They lack compassion. So it's like two train wrecks waiting to happen. So if you were left by the person that you were supposed to be in this committed relationship, I just want you to know that you're better off, and it's very painful. Betrayal is one of the deepest pains. And if you've been enmeshed with a narcissist, you already have post-traumatic stress from being manipulated and lied to on such a level. And I just want to reassure you that the pain doesn't always stay at the level if you're just figuring this out. Because like for me, I had mistaken for years that my husband had solely addiction issues, which I always know that addiction issues have underlying issues as well. But I thought it was from upbringing and whatnot. I didn't know he had a major character flaw that cannot be healed. So back to the vibration of your insignificant other and the affair person is, if they're willing to do that with you, with no empathy, with no compassion, with being okay in the beginning of being that third wheel, even bashing you as the spouse when they don't know you. Now, I know narcissists always, when they leave somebody, they're always going to blame their ex. But when this person's a willing person, it's a whole different game. So that third party also has very entitled behavior, because once you start dabbling with a married man or a married woman or in a committed relationship, that type of behavior already screams selfishness, because they get to the point where they're not having a problem with texting your husband or wife right while they're at home. They're not having a problem with trying to call your phone. And most likely the narcissist cheater, has their phone ringer off and, locked under passkey to get in their phone. But we're talking about the behavior of this third party affair person and the willing participant. So that shows already a lack of compassion, that they don't mind sneaking and cheating, that they're getting a thrill off being the affair person. They're also lying because they're keeping everything on the low blow. So there's just this time, and I know it most likely happened in the situation that I'm now out of and free of, where that affair person can be very manipulative, and having no boundaries whatsoever, neither themselves. Narcissists don't anyway, but I'm talking about the third party. So the affair person calling and texting, even though you're home with your husband or wife. And really, ultimately, they have a very deep-seated insecurity, because when they start giving ultimatums that, when are you going to leave your wife, or when are you going to leave your husband, that's pure red flags of manipulation. So quite frankly, when there's a willing participant, and I've always said this in my instance, that my ex-husband was completely to blame for being the cheater, habitual cheater that he was to me, because he had the wedding vows between me and God and him. So he had the opportunity to be a good person, which he's not, never was at his core, to have a line in the sand, because quite frankly, especially with social media now, people are more available, but really it's not about high quality. It's about just quantity. There's so many choices. There's so many options. But anybody with a good moral compass and somebody who truly loved you would never allow somebody else to entertain them. So I've always blamed the one with the wedding vows. However, when there's a third party that's that willing participant, that willing side piece, even if it's temporarily, and your husband or wife or committed relationship partner that was supposed to be left you for them, you have to look at it as it's not a loss for you. So when the affair person starts, really invading boundaries, when when your husband or wife is home with you and they're calling and texting, they have no care about you. They have no care about the ripple effect that perhaps, your husband or wife is going to have to go through a divorce from you, and that third party don't care about the ripple effect of that. Ultimately, the affair person or the willing participant has quite entitled behavior. So these are the red flags, and I'm not condoning any of the behavior that you may have experienced with your spouse, ex-spouse. However, there's just the equation there, and it kind of, I don't want to say that it brings you joy, but I was thinking about it on a vibrational level of what kind of person would willingly participate with a married man or married woman, and it's a low vibe, as is a narcissist. There's superficial, surface level intimacy with a narcissist because they don't truly feel it. They mimic a lot of behaviors. So is there anything else I want to say about that? So really think about that in a vibrational way, because I was reflecting on that and I'm thinking to myself, What kind of person willingly entertains someone who they know is married, or even if you were in supposed to be committed, living together, whatever situation. And I thought, wow, quite the lying, scheming, manipulative, insecure type of person that would be. And I was also thinking about this too, because I did stand in the face. I tried to approach, not knowing I was married to a narcissist, right? And getting completely blindsided. I tried to approach the both of them because he was having an affair this time with a coworker, and she just so happened to be the only one there. And when I confronted her on this topic of, what are you doing on the phone with my husband at 10:30 at night? And she was just very arrogant. And the last thing I said before I threw my hand up in her face was, do you not care that he's married? And she's like, no, I don't. And I'm thinking, oh, you are going to get your ass handed to you. Meaning my ex-husband just got manipulated. So I use that as a frame of reference because it caused deep reflection for me to go, what type of person is so arrogant to be okay with texting and calling and sexting somebody knowing they're home with their wife or husband? And that's, first of all, somebody with zero boundaries. And chances are, if you were left by your husband or wife or committed partner, uncommitted partner, like I was, chances are you're no longer a vibrational match for that person. And if it was a narcissist, as I've had confirmed through the whole process of the divorce I went through, that this dude was definitely a narcissist, you don't want to be around him anyway. They'll suck the life force energy out of you. And you know what? In the very beginning, it's so traumatic, especially if you were blindsided like me. And let's just face it, betrayal is the most ruthless, cold act that a human being can do to another. And it just seems to be a fucking free-for-all nowadays. So I choose to not be in a throwaway society. And I've came to realize the farther and farther that I've gotten out of it, that I was no longer, and probably never was from the beginning, a vibrational match with this person. I don't like drinking and being a drunk anymore. This person is. I definitely never, and from the beginning too, said I don't like lying, and I don't like cheating, and I don't like thieves. And that's, a narcissist is all of that. They have no boundaries themselves. So it is kind of something that makes me, I don't think it makes me feel pleasure or better or worse, but just thinking about it on a vibrational energy of, to be that type of person, to be that willing participant with the narcissist who's married, or even doesn't even have to be a narcissist for the information I'm sharing today. In my instance, it was, but to be a willing participant to destroy not just your life, but the person that was married to you. They're in self-destruct if they're a narcissist anyway. So you're better off not going down with the sinking ship with them. However, when that side piece starts giving ultimatums of, when are you having some heated, sneaky sex, and when are you going to leave your wife, and when are you going to leave your husband? I mean, that's pretty entitled behavior. And the boundaries and the lines crossed anyway, because a lot of times these people, will be having their affairs, and they're still, screwing their wife or husband at home. So let them be a vibrational match for each other. And remember this in the end: if you were the person who was inflicted so much pain from two people, one that was supposed to be your spouse and the other one a willing participant that knew about you, don't allow that to destroy you. But being removed from the situation, being removed from the equation is better off, because they expose you to other people that you don't even know about it. Like, I think about it now, and I've had to go for blood tests and STD checks over somebody that was telling me they loved me. They never loved you. That's another very hard thing to grasp, especially if you've put time in with one of these people. Somebody who is a habitual liar and a habitual cheater, let them go be with that vibrational match of another manipulator, another person who's feeling entitled and has entitled behavior, somebody else who likes to sneak around and be sneaky. Because really, if you're salt of the earth, you want to be no part of that. So just thinking about that today on episode 42 from a vibrational standpoint, right? Allow that third wheel to be their main wheel. And at the end of the day, the lying, cheating, and betrayal and manipulation and sneaking around that they did on you, you don't want to be part of that, no matter whether they're toxic, narcissist, psychopath. Many of the addictions that narcissists have come along with that. Let them go drink in that and destroy their liver and their bodies. And again, get yourself checked out, because you don't even want to know how many times they've probably cheated on you. It's quite disgusting, actually. So I hope this was helpful. And I started this channel, the Inferno podcast, but I didn't at the top of my page put a full description on what this channel is specifically about, because I'm not going to promote it that way. I may come on and just talk about things on the healing journey, because I am about, I don't know, time's a blur to me, but I'm out of it for a while, and I'm coming out of the fog and dealing with the levels and layers of betrayal and manipulation. And you were manipulated and played as a fool as well by this willing participant when they knew you were married to the person they were sneaking around with. So you kind of been double victimized, but at the same time, don't stay in victim mode. Turn to your inner core, turn to the divine, to God, and keep doing things that bring you joy. And in the beginning, you may not feel like it, but it'll be well worth it. I think one of the biggest thing for me is, because I am a bereaved mother, I know how precious time is, and I don't get to get time back. And I'll just share a little bit more too as well. I married this person in 2011. I know factually he cheated in 2014, 14 months after my son passed away via suicide. And I took him back. I loved who I thought he was, and I thought he made a mistake because of the pain that I felt of losing my son, because he did not. People are nothing more than appliances to a narcissist. And that could be very well what happens when the willing participant, and this is not always the case, but if the willing participant knew about you, it's quite possible they're also a narcissist as well, at the very minimum toxic. My whole point in saying that is I took that person back in 2015. He got clean and sober temporarily off alcohol and whatever else he had been doing. And I look back at it now that I'm coming out of that, and he resented me the whole time, even though it wasn't me that gave him the ultimatum. I had thought the whole time that it was, again, like I said, only an alcohol issue, addiction issue. It was far more than that. We're all flawed, but narcissists are so far gone and so underdeveloped and so superficial, and they literally find joy and pleasure in hurting people, that I took him back under false pretense because of his so-called changed behavior, which never changed. And I never want you to be in a position of me. If they cheat once and you know about it, do not ever look back. Cut all ties. And you can forgive from a distance, but do not keep them in your life. There's very few people out there, and I know this firsthand, very few people out there that cheating was just a one-time incident. It does happen, but with a narcissist, that's not the case. So don't ignore red flags, and do not take somebody back that cheats. Because I did that, and it ended up being 20 times worse, because more of my life was wasted with somebody that has no emotional depth with me or anybody else, has no care or respect for me or themselves. So let that willing participant, that willing side piece, be their main piece. Cut yourself right out of it. Again, I wasn't given an option, but I believe God does intervene, because Creator of the universe sees all things that are done behind your back. So truth to light. Hope you're well on your healing journey. Hope this was helpful and enlightening in some sort of way. A little bit of relief within you for whatever morsels of it. It doesn't minimize or make anything better for what you may have been through like I was, but it can maybe kind of keep your shoulders up and your head tilted back, knowing if you were a genuine person that had true love and true empathy and true compassion, that you didn't lose anything. So let that affair person think they won your husband or wife, but really they took a lot of fucking problems off your hands. So much love to you. Shalom, shalom.